Hi, everybody. Look who I have with me today, Arianne Zucker and Greg Vaughan of Days of Our Lives. You know, two of my favorite people. It's so great to connect with both of you. Really, truly is. I want to just first say I'm exhausted watching this storyline. I don't know how you're playing it, but it's exhausting. And Arianne, when you found out you were going to have this baby switch story, were you trepidatious about it, knowing that there's been so many baby switches in the history of soap operas and even at Days?
Well, actually, I'm a little biased towards the one and only Baby Switch storyline I have been in
It was
because
the
that,
classic one.
yeah, it played really well. It was like almost 2 years long, and it involved so many characters, and it was really great. I thought it was great for the team. You know what I mean? Of course, for myself, but no, just kidding. But I thought that was such a really wonderful storyline. So I was very interested to see where this was going to go. Plus, now my character, it's the opposite, right? So you can call it karma or whatever, but for the character, but I was like, all right, let's see how is it going to be played out. It's hard to write, these stories different than, the next, right? So I as it's been unfolding, I'm like, okay, I didn't see the car accident coming, that was kind of cool. And getting to interact with some other characters that I personally don't get to normally work with. So that was fun. So just
Yeah.
as you start to see the little seeds being planted along the way, I'm like, okay.
Right. And
I'm still a little
I can,
biased, but
okay,
okay.
because I was going to say you had the classic baby switch storyline with Alison Sweeney,
Yes.
and Nicole perpetrated all of this, and then she was found out. So don't you think it is a bit of karma?
No.
Great answer, Ari.
Great
Thank
answer. Okay.
So truth.
No.
So Greg, you're in these scenes with Jessica Serfaty, and you're with Ari, and do you feel that Eric? Do you think do they play him as the doofus in this, that he can't figure this out, or is he getting a clue that something's ever wrong?
No, look, I think he's just so inundated with the whole concept of becoming a father more so than being duped or the doofus, or I mean, anybody could play it any way, but I'm not going to project my character as somebody who's just completely ignorant. I think that he's just completely embracing the idea of a relationship and creating a family. And I think, obviously, I mean, what the circumstances between Eric and Nicole's relationship has definitely changed. So I think, I think he had hope that he was going to be the biological father, and then they could help. I mean, accept the terms of their relationships or where they have gotten to. But I think that they would have cultivated an interesting relationship. But I love the story. I think it's built. At first, I wasn't aware that it was. I kind of found it a little bit silly, and not having done the a baby switch with Lindsay Godfrey and with the whole Sarah, and I think it was Kristen Demira and Brady in the past. So once you've done one storyline, it's hard to do repeat and make it quality. And I think the cast, the amount of people that involved in this one with Greg and Dimitri, I think all of that, Leo and Dimitri and all that other actors and that have been involved in this, I think has been great. It's made it fun.
Yeah, because that was my thing, Arianne, was like that. Oh, we've seen this before, and it's so agonizing to watch a mother go through it. That's the thing. It's such a painful, horrible thing. I'm sure as any mother out there watching Days of Our Lives, or anybody watching it. And so you have to play these excruciating beats of, losing the baby, but you don't think you lost the baby, and being told it's dead. And what was that like to play those? Everybody's giving you kudos. They were all riveting, but it was also like, part of you is like, I don't want to watch a mother go through this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, obviously it's part of the soap operas, right? You have to have soapy moments daily. So in respect to that, I'm Nicole has changed a lot since the last baby switch storyline. She was still in a different time in her life, and very just really trying to find this connection with someone that she lacked for so long. And I think now with the relationship that's grown, and the years that she's had with Eric, with their on again, off again relationship, their marriage, their separation, and just you start to grow as a person, which is nice to see. And now this, Nicole getting pregnant at this time is even, it's pretty amazing. And the fact that she's carried the baby, like there's so many processes in my head that I've gone through where I know a lot of women that struggle in real life. So I really, really try to take care of other women's their viewership. What are they watching and how are they feeling and how can I relate? I think I do put a lot of that in there because I am very cautious about how I work with this care, when you're losing a baby. I think it's really, I really want to touch upon and hope that I'm connecting to other women. And with that being said, it's hard to go through those moments in life because having a baby is such a miracle and it is such a wonderful thing in life. And when they hit teenagehood, that's a whole different story. We can talk about that later. But anyway, that was like a roundabout, just really trying to stay connected to how each one is so different though. Like, even though you get another baby switch storyline, it's like, but how does it affect you now in this part of your life and this portion? And and I know Nicole is prone to postpartum, right? Bad postpartum issues. And so, she struggles a lot, period. So are those sense memories going to come back and bite her in the butt,
Greg, ultimately, Nicole and Eric are star-crossed lovers. Like they are each other's ride or die. I mean, it's so clear. Even there was the scene where she was at the car had crashed and I think the baby was already delivered at that point. And then didn't Eric come to the roadside he was there for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you think about those scenes? And are they each other's ride or die? Aren't they truly? That's what we all want, right? So we're going to keep them apart until we can.
Yeah. I mean, Ari and I, we've talked about this many times, and since I joined the show, and I think forever they are each other's ride or die. They just have long been together and not together, and so they get in so many precarious positions and predicaments, and then it's something, fate just pulls them apart, for whatever reasons, whether it's a personal choice or an intervention of some sort of circumstances. So it was great. I love just the build up to these moments. But like I said, I just think the ensemble that was a part of this whole thing, some of Ari's work has been phenomenal. Obviously, she's really taken this story and created something different. And her discovering and learning that, she was going to carry a baby, and then her taking all the additional process and work and, just like where she was in her own life and at this chapter in her life, and to have, versus the storyline when she kidnapped a baby when she was 20 years ago, I think that just is a testament to the storyline. I think they've had more time to evolve the story, and create something better and put in a lot of missing beats. And, it's been fun to watch, but I've become a very Leo and Dimitri fan over this whole thing. And what Arianne and Greg Rickhart, they created such a great moment in the car crash and the delivery. I think just the timing, the comedy is just their specialty. And it just was more fun for me to watch.
I was going to say, what was that scene like filming with Greg? And did you guys rehearse? Like, how did that go down? Like the delivery scene? I mean,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it was all preset. It was mostly, I was just an accessory, to the whole twist and plot and turn and stuff. And I think, I'm definitely, being an integral part of the story, but it was just being there and always where's EJ? Where's my partner? I'm just informing her I'm here for her always, no matter what. I will love her and support her through good and bad. And I know how much it means to her to have this second chance, or a new opportunity to create the family that she's wanted as much as I want for her. So it was great. I think it was the Nicole Leo moment that we watched and enjoyed. And there's more to come. So I just it's just
layers and layers and layers. This has been fun.
How was it working with Greg, Ari?
Which one?
Not Greg Vaughan, Greg Rickard.
Rickard. True.
True. I was like, oh yeah, there's another Greg.
He's so great. He is, and because he naturally, it's funny, Greg's like an introvert. He's not necessarily like this loud, I'm here, he's not Leo. And he, we'll look at his dialogue he gets, and we got to get all our laughs out first in the when we're writing my lines, because he's got so many. But he just brings this wonderful, like, you want to smack him and hug him all at the same time kind of a thing.
Yeah, you do.
And he just brings a wonderful light to his character. He does a really good job with what could be very quirky, right, and really out of touch, but he does bring this joy to it. And I thought that he did in the seriousness in the moment really great job. And then of course, Peter and him have a beautiful banter that it was hard for me not to laugh while I'm down on the ground while those two are going, who's on first base? What's on second?
You take it to the hospital.
Oh, they're great.
Yeah.
What do you think both of Nicole and Eric's reaction would be when they find out just how deep Leo and Dimitri were involved in this?
Oh, yeah, I think
that's a big betrayal, I would think, for Nicole.
It's in for Dimitri and Leo. Well, I don't really know them. So right. Those moments for me, I mean, it's more like it's twofold, right? Because you have this person who I shared a moment with delivering this baby I never thought I could carry to full term, which is a beautiful moment. And then to be deceived, I don't know what she would do. She'd probably claw his eyes out and throw him off a cliff or something.
So when they told both of you, so you ended up being paired with Jessica Serfaty, Greg, and you end up with Dan Furigal as your on-screen partners. What was that like when you found out, oh, this is where my love story, or did you know that it would ultimately lead to hopefully Eric and Nicole getting back together? Or you don't know? It was kind of
like, do you want to go? I just spoke. Do you want to go, Greg? Or me? I'll keep going.
I
know. I'll working with Jessica.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ari, you lead on. Ladies first.
Okay. No, of course, EJ and Nicole have such a history, and I think that Nicole, if I were to keep it selfish about the character, she can be very selfish. I think she found this grounded relationship in EJ, right? And working with Dan, he's really quite good. He's very funny, and he has a dynamic of color if allowed to, use those colors. So working with him is a lot of fun. He will admit this, so I'm allowed to share. He is a man child. So and he is very funny. He is very funny in between scenes. So, he's fantastic. And I think that I do love that these two characters have had such a long go at it. And I think there's always something, though, in the back of Nicole's mind that if Sam were to walk through that door, he'd dump me like a hot potato, That I think there's always something like that with Nicole.
Yeah. Eric, when I joined the canvas and the team here, it was just like, I came back and, discovering, Nicole and trying to salvage the relationship, but knowing that she had moved on with Rafe, and so kind of that's where it came back into the fold. And then I became some kind of American gigolo, if you will. I just started like bouncing around from bed to bed, and I was like quite confused on what the.
Well, let's not forget you blamed Nicole for something that she didn't do.
Yeah, but
ruined
it. Eric took accountability. He did own up to his own fault and mistake, and had and he took responsibility, blame for why she would leave, and and stuff like that. She had all the reasons to leave. And so, but it was just going from relationship, and then with Alia's character, and Jude, and just like trying to like now have a child there. It's like the kid's story just really came out of the blue. So I had no idea. It felt like really like they were setting up obviously for this, but I didn't see that coming with the whole Eric and Nicole and the quadrangle that they created eventually. But it was like they were determined to make Eric a father. That his intentions to become one were quite evident. I think it was just a shock of her character getting pregnant, you know, that then evolved in like, hey, let's create this other storyline now. You know, we dangled the carrot, now we've taken it away, so let's see where we goes. But it was fun. I mean, Jessica was a great addition. Dan, working with him has been, like Ari said, very colorful. He is a big kid and it's fun. I love watching their rapport, and then I love our rapport, and I think it's made for good television.
Eric, it finds out that the adoption fell through.
And
she has to lie her way through this, Sloan. And she's worried that you'll somehow figure out the truth. So at that point, does he just really believe what she says? Like,
I think he's taken her word for with, grain of salt. I just think he wants to believe. I mean, he's come so far, and he's really allowed this relationship and to become a priority. He's prioritized the relationship with Sloan and Eric, and then the idea of having a baby, because she was so adamant. And he's very I think forgiving of and not passive, but in the same sense as like he feels for her, because deep inside he's had dialogue with her and shared conversations, and you just see a different wonderful vulnerability that Sloan has that everybody else does not see. And so that's what makes him like want to fall in love with her. And then the idea of having like, wow, she wants to not have a child because she can't conceive. Now let's go adopt a child. She was very adamant about doing it. So, which we had dialogue about, is it the right thing to do? Let's slow down, and then all of a sudden now Eric and Nicole both are having babies at the same time. It's kind of ironic.
So. And Ari, is it like, do you play it? Isn't she frustrated that nobody believes her? Like Nicole believes the baby's alive, right? And everybody's thinking, okay, she's insane. Or, that's the other thing I hate about baby switch storylines too. That's so mean to the mother, but you have to do it for the drama of it.
Right.
She knows. And she's like, and she believed, doesn't she believe that Sloan's baby is her baby? Or there was a part at that point she did?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Still does, right?
Yeah. It's you I know I only held them for a brief moment, but there's, again, anybody could look at her and go, feel sorry for Nicole and like, oh, Nicole's really losing it. But no, I think that, again, it's like, not only does postpartum hit Nicole really hard, but there's this like, but now she's telling what feels like to her. She's like, I'm telling the truth, and it's like, wow, just nobody. And I think there's a part of Nicole that knows nobody believes her,
and
I
think she must know, right? She knows. Yeah.
She totally knows.
It's a horrible place to be.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah. You're trapped. It's worse than jail, because you're in jail in your own heart, mind, and, body. So
are we going to, there was nothing more classic than the bitch slap between how you got slapped by Sami so hard to that when I would edit clips for packages for the daytime Emmys, I put that in all the time because it was the most classic bitch slap showdown and reaction. I'm saying we're going to see a redo of that.
Ooh.
On the reverse.
Yeah. I get a good
I think that's how this goes.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you my bet.
Yeah, your bet.
I'll take that bet. I'm gonna bet
over under.
I think it's gonna happen. I think it's gonna be the whole turnabout. But yeah. So what's been the hardest scene for you to play, both of you? There was a scene that I loved, Arianne, with you and James Reynolds when Abe came to her in the hospital.
Oh yeah.
And she was so distraught.
Yeah, Jim, I think I've said this 1,000 times, but Jim Reynolds himself makes me cry when he walks in the room, because he has just this warm, beautiful soul. And that's the kind of personal relationship we have outside the show, let alone like these two characters. We're always like, why can't we have more scenes like more father-daughter? Because he was there off camera, of course, during a time when Nicole was being abused and he was having an affair with my mom and all that kind of stuff through her life, you know? And so, you know, I feel like these scenes are so important because Nicole, this is really the only parenting Nicole has, in Abe, you know, so I feel like they're always very special when she gets to have even a moment with Abe. She kind of gets to be a little girl again, which I don't think she really ever got a chance to be, you know?
Mm.
And Greg, what's been has there been a scene, a moment within this arc? Maybe we have seen it, maybe we have not.
Definitely haven't. But jumping on Ari's ending point there, coattails, James Reynolds. I mean, I just had some scenes with him recently, and just like she said, I mean, he's just such a delight to see. When I see him, I just go to him. I'm drawn to him like a magnet, you know. It's like peanut butter to jelly. I just like, we go together, you know. I just want to like come and hang out with him and then talk to him, catch up, how's life treating him. But he's just such a delight. He comes in, knows what he's doing, and he does it with such heart and compassion. So there's so much it's just been this journey that we've all been on together, you know, and there's a lot of good stuff that's either already been seen and it's come to the forefront or it hasn't come. And I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff. I think people will be more than satisfied along this ride. Yes, it does get timely and exhausting, but you know, it just creates good story. And it's good. It's like pulling the string cheese, just very slowly apart.
Oh, it's one of those things where I want to throw a bottle at if it was a TV, I'd throw a thing at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing with baby switches, right? And like,
yes.
Please don't do this to them. So she does.
Don't do this to us.
Don't do this to us.
Oh God.
Yes, he does it.
Don't do this to us. Ari, so she takes the baby, right? She takes the baby. There's a moment where Sloan is about to confess to stealing Nicole's baby, but actually Nicole has the baby.
Let's see. She leaves the baby in the stroller. Sloan does and walks away. So it's kind of like free baby
at the square. At the square.
Exhaustive night with Eric and Sloan, where it's up all night with baby Jude.
Yeah.
Right.
And she leaves the stroller in the square.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. With the baby in it.
With the baby in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Abandoned baby.
I'm like, I mean, what mom would be like, yo.
So does she just come upon the baby?
Well, she's walking through the square and then sees the baby in the stroller. She's still in that post issues, right? That she's having. And it's really, really sad. And she just is like, I got to take care of this kid.
Does she realize it's baby Jude, the baby that she's taking? Okay.
Yeah, I believe that she totally knows that it's Jude. I mean, I think, you see kind of her take off and leave the baby. And so I think Nicole is just like, once and for all, I gotta make sure this baby's, this is mine. This is my kid. This is what she believes. This is my child. And this woman just runs off and leaves the baby all alone in the Horton Town Square. Who does that? I would never, like, it's like that totally gypsy mother thing. I would never do that. I would never leave my baby alone for half a second like that. That's kind of where I think Nicole's going, right?
So she takes off with the baby, and that is bad news, because then I feel like no one's going to believe her that it is a baby, and they're going to try to take it away from her, and then we're going to have to watch more anguishing scenes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. That's what's going to happen. You already know this cannot be good for Nicole.
This is not good for Nicole.
Give Michael the $1 million prize. Good job, you.
Woo!
On that note, you guys, you both are such good friends in real life, and then you've played this relationship for so many years. Greg, why does it work so amazingly well? I mean, it just is such a great. The scenes are always great, and there's so many layers in it between the two of you, and you root for them, even though they both have not done some great things along the way.
Yeah,
why does it work so well with her?
Look at her. What's not to like? What's not? Okay. I mean, Ari and I think we've said this so many times. It's like, the establish of the relationship was set. The tone was set a long time ago, and and coming in and recreating something and having that consistency over the past 10 years, 12 years, almost, I guess, 11 years. somewhere in there. But it's just been fun. We've always connected. We kind of she shows up and we have a different beat than her and Dan. She has a different beat than I do with Jessica. We all have a different way of our work and how we perform. And when you have two people and we still pull from the history, we still have that connection, and everybody will see it. You just like, no matter when it comes, we find it. It's like we finish each other's sentences. I think it's a safe place. It's been fun. We know each other well. It's a Gemini connection.
I was gonna say it's because we're both Geminis. There's
Yes.
people.
Don't you two make each other laugh the most?
Not as much as her and Dan. Those two,
I don't
like,
know.
I mean,
Okay,
her and Eric Martzoff. Oh God,
Marty.
That's out of
Yeah.
Marty Martz.
Marty and I are like, oh God.
I go sit in the corner when they're two having their moment. I just go sit down, watch.
We're like siblings.
I just remember when we did how well we did your co-star with the two of you. I never laughed so hard. It was the funniest segment.
Yeah.
I look back on that and I go, this is the funniest ever.
You were so funny. I love that. I still have that piece. I watch it sometimes. I
Such
think
a good
it's so
piece.
funny.
We just edited so good, and it was so fun. And Greg was so funny.
Well, and here's what I think for the fans. It's so funny because I think Greg, and this is a compliment, just so you know, is you're just very well put together in your interviews, and you're just very like, and you say what you mean, and it's wonderful. And except this, you totally let go, and we're laughing. So like the Greg I know, like
It was so great, Greg.
it was so genuine and authentic. And I think that was what was so funny about it, is just because
It
you're
was-
always
It was endearing. It was.
Yeah. You guys know I'm kooky all the time,
Yeah.
So I have no problem with it, but it was really a joy to watch.
Talk to me about working with Greg. I mean, why does it work so well?
I think the biggest thing, the strongest thing that Greg and I have is an emotional relationship off camera and on camera. And I think that's what makes it so easy on camera is he taps into something and I connect right to it. Right. So we're just totally listening to each other on that emotional capacity. And then now we know it's our strength, right? Where some fans could be tired of with Eric and Nicole, and they're always, they get tired of them always pulling our characters apart, which can, for over the years, I can understand that. But there is that, but that's the beauty of the two, is this strength. And I think that's what I love, is I know Greg and I will walk on stage, and at any moment, if you want it to be an emotional scene, it can be like that. We can be both. And it's magical, I think, too. And even in the times when, if we ever get written with joy, I can't even imagine what that's going to be like.
Right.
These two characters can actually enjoy their love and see where that emotion gets to go to. But for now, I think that drawn drama, that angst that we carry is just, we just have very honest people, and so I think that tells a lot about two people also. And again, it makes it easy to work.
And there's another part to the story in that, she believes she was having a baby with EJ.
Yeah. But
it's Eric's baby. Yeah. So there's this whole bomb to drop, even after the switcheroo. Right. So how will Nicole feel if she finds out it's Eric's baby? Would that be overjoyed to her, or will she feel devastated about what that would do to EJ?
There are some points of Nicole now where I actually believe that she is thinking of someone else. And I think for Eric to have a child of his own, I know how difficult it is. And how the struggles that Nicole went through, and Chloe, carrying the baby, then trying to keep the baby for herself and having to go through a custody hearing, like, it's difficult. And so I think if she were to find out that the baby is Eric's, I think there'd be a tremendous amount of joy and like, oh God, making this marriage work with EJ, and I'm really trying to go a different route. And now I have to have Eric in my life all the time. Not that we wouldn't run into each other all the time, but now it's like that deep connection that these two would have with this child, because that connection that Eric and Nicole have will never ever go away. That's just is what it is. So ever. And so now you have put a child into it. I'm not sure where she would, what she would, how she would do it. It would probably draw her back to him.
And wouldn't Eric go running to Nicole? I mean, it's a baby and it's Nicole's baby. That's
it's a big thing.
Big thing for him.
That is a big thing. Yeah. I mean, of course, I see all the reasons that make sense. You know, and then I find all the reasons that would bring up a question of, you know, after Nicole's gotten to this place and Eric's gotten to a certain place, I think they have a lot to talk about for sure. I think it's going to be a fun way, however it plays out, you know, and where they go and what they decide and what, you know, who's going to suffer and who's going to get hurt, you know.
Melinda Trask.
Melinda.
I couldn't believe Melinda Trask was behind this thing. I'm like, where did this come from?
And why?
Yeah.
Why? It's like, boy, she knew who to call.
Yeah.
See, that was the thing. It's like, I'll call this corrupt doctor and we'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't like this part.
A little twist.
Yeah. You always got to have that little twist. Somebody to kind of take the fall, right?
Are you guys, so do you guys watch this back now since you taped this, what, 6 months ago? You're 6 months ahead?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are we 6 months? I guess. Yes.
Yeah. Between 5 and 6.
So are you watching this story? Do you watch this back? Are you
I haven't had a chance to watch it yet just because our weeks have been crazy. And then of course I'm always, as soon as I'm done with work, I drive home to Tahoe and then it's like mom time. And I don't even think I've watched really anything. So, but I want to just because I'm behind. I know there's a lot of people that are behind on the shows, so that's okay.
And the great thing about Peacock is it's got a great inventory of episodes, so we can catch up.
It's really great.
That's the beauty of it. Yeah. I haven't been able to see anything at this point like Ari. I mean, we're both traveling, doing our family bit and doing other ventures and stuff like that. So, I mean, but when we're here, we're so focused in and dialed in on it. And it's after trying to get back and to rewatch what you may have created. You just cross your fingers and put your team to work and make sure it comes out beautiful.
At least we get to see the cool promos that
does. True, and fan reaction. And obviously this is material for both of you for next year, so don't forget to pick the right scenes.
Okay.
We'll take suggestions, please, Michael. Please throw them out there.
Because these are great performances and you know how it's all about the real. So I'm like, you know.
True.
Yeah. Greg, I wanted to ask you, it was so beautiful, the photos you posted and what you said about Tyler Christopher. You know, I love Tyler so much.
Yeah.
And I've been so heartbroken over the whole thing. And it was just wonderful to see you there for the kids and family. Can you just say a few words about that to us?
Yeah. It was, you know, it's been a very difficult journey, as many know. And Tyler and our relationship started 25 years ago, when I was on Charmed. You know, Tyler has made a rock and foundation from being on General Hospital, leaving to venture out and do other things. And then our paths just continued to be tied together as we were reunited at General Hospital and stuff. And then back at Days. But the friendship that we created was special. We were a brotherhood amongst many other special people in his life and his family. His kids are beautiful. They're special. Their mother is an incredible woman who's been on a journey that nobody can see or that is going on behind closed doors. And it was a terrible, terrible tragedy to lose somebody as special and so young as Tyler was. His talents, you can't even expand on with words how gifted he was, his commitment to the craft and what he did on a day-to-day basis. But he brought so many people together in all spaces, you know, from work to his personal life. But he was also so close and guarded. So you feel very special to be in his inner circle. And we had a gathering yesterday, and his LA friends, very dear friends and companions that he worked with. And so we all got together. There was about 30 to 40 of us here. We FaceTime with his kids to hear a little LA tribute, if you will. You know, Brandon Barash, Maurice Bernard, Kimberly McCullough, Gosh, there are a lot of General Hospital folk, a few of us from days.
Did you
But-
all, were you together? Or did you Zoom in, or how did you?
No, we were all physically together. We went to a dear friend of Tyler's, that spanned the last 20, 30 years. You know, Stephen Nichols, Brandon Barash, Maurice Paula. There was, gosh, so many other names that are actors, actresses that appeared. Chris Judd was there. Let's say there was a lot. People that worked in production from General Hospital there, and the crew. We all had time. John Homa was one of the General Hospital acting coaches that's been there for over 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's just I think a closure, and allow people to get up. And I mean, those that are still emotionally grieving, and processing, acceptance, and we all have band together to be there for his children and to support them in every way that he has introduced them into our lives, and them to us. He's very missed and very loved, and resting peacefully and with it alongside of his mother. And that's where he belongs in my heart, and I just give kudos to his mom, to the family, but also to Bree, and how she's raising those kids, because they're very much integral part of Tyler's family and still remain that way. And she's an incredible woman and brave, and she's overcome this and this difficult time. It made me revisit a lot of people's, because it was very difficult, I think, for a lot of us in the beginning when we got news. I was very angry, and I was sad. I was tremendously sad. I felt like there was a lot of all the effort that we were personally engaged with, that anybody contributed to, with that we failed him, or, but it is a disease, and it takes a lot of strength and courage and continuous effort. But all the tributes, I went back and I watched so many of his acting stuff on YouTube, or what posts were being said, whether it was positive, whether it was negative, it was heartfelt. I mean, it was a tough one for all of us in different ways, in so many different ways. So it's hard not to get so wrapped up and not be emotional. But at the same time, he was such an incredible human being with a life that was so vivacious and funny sense of humor, dirty and good. It was, but we did it all. I mean, I look back and we had 25 years together, some of it very, very close, and some of it, a little gap, but it's like getting together. We always did fun things. I mean, he was like my brother. I mean, we motorcycle, we travel, we loved sports, we worked out together. We, brought in his cousin Dirk and Drew into our mix. I mean, it was boxing, and it's just a wonderful. We became fathers within the same year of each other. I mean, it's like we shared a lot of memories and great things, and traveled on appearances around this country together. So, yeah, but you know what? He may not be with us in the present, but he is with us forever.
Did you get to work with him on days when he was Stephen Demira?
Yeah, I met Tyler when I was like 21 or something. Before I was in soaps or anything. I used to date his cousin Dirk. So such a small world. So weird.
There's that.
But
the soap stars. Okay.
It's crazy. But you know what? I wasn't even on a soap yet. I didn't know anything about soaps. I was
weren't there.
modeling and working. Like it wasn't something that I was drawn to. I wanted to be a veterinarian, still working on it. Yeah, so I had met Tyler. Dirk and Tyler lived together, and with their other roommate Davey, and that's when I met Tyler, and he just got General Hospital. Like he had, a few months after I had just met him. And he were just a couple of kids all trying to make it, and it was a good time in our lives. And so of course, fast forward to now, it's hard to see people struggle and to get through what they work so hard to get over, and but still rooting for everything that he's left here on this earth to help move forward with his family and his future, and having friends like Greg and a family like Dirk, and just, you know, really seeing them take this path that he's been leading and continue it. So, yeah, he's a really wonderful person. Really, just doesn't, not that I knew, a mean bone in his body. So,
Yeah, I just knew him as just a fine actor. I just would watch him. I watched back some of those scenes, and I just remember going, I mean, the whole time I knew how great he was, and then you watch it back now that he's passed away, and you're like, oh my God, this is so incredible. Just
Yeah.
so many wonderful scenes.
present. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, just switching gears to wrap up. So to telling the fans, if you told me in a broad stroke, what should we look forward to? So she's got the baby. What are we going to need our hankies, or what's going to happen here?
You know, I think that there is, just hang tight, because what I do love is that the emotions continue, right? Yes, you will always need a tissue when these two characters are involved in any kind of story. And I think, was I'm sitting here thinking, as you say, like where we're at right now is just how Ari feels about Nicole. I just feel like, oh, you know, this girl's got, this train keeps rolling to try and, you know, get people to believe about this child. And so that outcome is interesting. I hope, you know, people will, you know, I don't know really what to say. Greg, help.
You're doing it fine.
Last word.
It has been it's been fun, and it's still happening. It's still going on, and it's not finite yet. So there's still a lot to be shared in the next few weeks, you know, and that's what we're kind of coming to conclusion, if you will. But it has been a hell of a journey, and it's been a good story. And there are a lot of tear-jerking moments, but there's a lot of beautiful, really compassionate, very beautiful storytelling, great performances. So I think a lot of people will be excited to embrace what the journey will find out, and where it's going and where it's going to happen.
So next few weeks, you think will be?
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of hints kind of dropped along the last couple of weeks that we've been working about a shift, and kind of you feel the conclusion coming. The out is about to happen, if you will. So I just hang tight, get ready. It's going to be one to remember.
That's perfect. Thank you both so much. It was so
welcome.
much fun to see you both.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Greg.
Yes,
So much fun. Thank you.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Watch them on Days of Our Lives, streaming on Peacock. I'll see you guys soon, hopefully.
Hi,
Definitely.
everyone. Thanks for
Bye.
joining.
Thank you.